The next chapter of the Dune saga might completely change how we see Paul Atreides. Dune, Part 3, directed by Denis Villeneuve, will adapt Frank Herbert's novel Dune Messiah and serve as the final installment of Villeneuve's trilogy. But unlike the first two films, this story isn't about the rise of a hero. It's about the consequences of becoming one. And the truth is, Paul Atreides may already know how it all ends. Set years after the events of Dune, Part 2, Paul Atreides now rules the known universe as emperor. Worshipped by the Fremen as a living messiah, his followers have carried out a brutal holy war across the galaxy in his name. Billions have died, entire civilizations have fallen, and Paul, despite his absolute power, may be the only one who never wanted this future. Paul's greatest gift is also his greatest curse: prescience. His visions allow him to see possible futures, but the more he tries to avoid disaster, the more he seems trapped by it. Every decision he makes narrows the paths ahead, slowly guiding him toward outcomes he fears the most. In many ways, Paul has become a prisoner of destiny. From the outside, he appears unstoppable. The emperor of the universe, the religious symbol of an unstoppable movement. But internally, he is fighting a battle against time, prophecy, and the terrifying realization that some futures cannot be escaped. Power on this scale creates enemies. Several powerful factions begin plotting against Paul behind the scenes. The Bene Gesserit, masters of political manipulation, the Spacing Guild, who depend entirely on spice to navigate the stars, and remnants of the old imperial order that once ruled before Paul seized the throne. Each group fears the same thing. If Paul's rule continues unchecked, the balance of power across the galaxy could change forever. But defeating Paul in battle would be nearly impossible. Instead, they plan something far more dangerous. They aim to destroy him psychologically. One of the most shocking developments comes with the return of Duncan Idaho. Originally killed in the first Dune film, Duncan is brought back as a Gola, a clone created from the cells of the original warrior. But this isn't simply resurrection. The new Duncan, known as Hate, may carry hidden programming placed there by Paul's enemies. His mission may not be loyalty, it may be betrayal. This raises one of the story's biggest philosophical questions. If someone is cloned from the original, with fragments of their memories restored, are they truly the same person? Or just a shadow of who they once were? While political tensions grow across the galaxy, Paul's personal life begins to fracture. His relationship with Chani becomes increasingly complicated as the pressures of ruling an empire weigh on them both. Love, loyalty, and prophecy collide in ways neither of them expected. Paul may command armies and shape the future of entire worlds, but he cannot control the things that matter most. The deeper the empire expands, the more fragile his personal world becomes. What makes this chapter of the Dune saga so fascinating is that it deliberately challenges the traditional hero story. Frank Herbert originally wrote Dune Messiah as a warning. The first story showed how a hero rises. The second reveals the danger of placing absolute faith in that hero. History is filled with charismatic leaders who inspired millions. But Herbert's story asks a difficult question. What happens when an entire civilization believes one man is their savior? Even if that man knows the future, he may not be able to save them from themselves. If Denis Villeneuve stays faithful to the themes of the novel, Dune Part 3 could become the most thought-provoking film in the entire trilogy. Less about massive battles, more about fate, power, and the heavy burden of prophecy. Paul Atreides once dreamed of changing the future, but now standing at the center of an empire built in his name, he may finally realize something terrifying. Sometimes the future doesn't belong to those who see it. Sometimes it belongs to those who believe in it. And belief can be far more powerful than destiny.